Hey guys, it is time for Real Hair Revelations for this week. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to wait until a few of you get into the group and get into this video because this is going to change your hair life forever. Some of you are new to the group. And some of you are OGs and you've been here for a while. So if you're an OG and you've been here for a little bit, you may already know this, but it's never too much to get a reminder because we can easily forget it. And also, if you are a newbie to the group or a newer person to the group, welcome. We are so happy to have you here in our amazing positive vibe and group. But you may not know this. So the number one cause of dry hair issues is lack of adequate moisture. Lack of adequate moisture will be the bane of your existence and of your hair's existence. If you can resolve that one issue, you will solve the majority of the issues and challenges and frustrations you are having with your hair. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Karima. Hey, Kara. All right. So if you can resolve the issue of lack of adequate moisture to your hair, you will resolve this issue. Now, again, I've talked about this before in other Real Hair Revelation videos, but I'm going to condense all of those videos into this one today, and I'm going to try my best to summarize and give you guys a synopsis of everything that you need to be making sure that you do. So I'm not going to go as in depth as I did on those other videos because those videos were dedicated to specific topics involving moisture. So I'm going to give you a very kind of high level but very relevant and important kind of game plan for your hair. Hey, Diane. Hey there, Ingrid. Okay, so here we go. First things first, you need to make sure that you are using a moisturizer that is suitable for your hair. Hey, Janet. Hey, Tanya. And when I say suitable, you have to make sure that water is the first ingredient in your hair moisturizer. Keep in mind that a leave-in conditioner is not a moisturizer, okay? It is not a suitable moisturizer. It will not keep your hair moisturized. Now, here's the thing. When our hair is dry, meaning when it feels dry to you, you've got to remember that everything starts from the inside out. So if it feels dry to you, it's already been dry at the core of your hair for some time. When your hair starts to feel dry to you, that means that you're prone to breakage, prone to brittleness, shedding, split ends, dryness, all the stuff that you hate about having natural hair, just hair in general. You're going to start experiencing those sorts of things. So you have to be proactive. So I see a lot of people saying, oh, I moisturize my hair when it feels dry. Remember, it's already too late when it feels dry to you. Now, of course, you can moisturize it when it feels dry, but by that time, you're kind of trying to backpedal into a preventative, you're trying to backpedal and fix things retroactively instead of doing a preventative sort of thing. So think about this as like diet and exercise, right? So you know that you shouldn't, I don't know, what's something that you shouldn't do? You shouldn't eat things that are known to cause cancer, right? I can't think of anything right now, but you shouldn't eat those things, right? And so instead of eating them and then getting cancer and then trying to get rid of the cancer, you just don't eat those things. So that way you ideally, hopefully, God willing, don't get cancer, right? Does that make sense? So you try to be preventative. And so you need to do the same thing. Obviously your hair is not nearly as dire as having cancer. I would never try to compare the two in that way, but I want you to really understand that preventative methods of caring for your hair are going to make you less frustrated with your hair and much more happier with your journey. Okay. So you need to make sure that you are moisturizing your hair, one, with a moisturizer that is truly a moisturizer, not a leave-in conditioner. Conditioners are not designed to moisturize your hair. Conditioners do exactly what they say that they're going to do. Conditioners work on the outside of your hair only. Okay, so think about when you wash your hair. You wash your hair and it may feel a little bit rough or what have you, and then you put you put the conditioner on. It conditions your hair, smooths the hair follicle down, gives it the shine, helps it reflect light and makes it shiny and pretty and all that sort of stuff. That's what a conditioner does. A moisturizer, by contrast, actually works on the inside core of your hair, inside, it works from the inside to the outside. So it moisturizes the inside, and thereby that comes out on the outside. Hey there, Monique. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, everybody. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Tracy and Tanya and Janet. Welcome, ladies. Welcome, everybody, to the group. Okay, so you want to make sure you're using a moisturizer. One, when you find a moisturizer, you got to make sure that your moisturizer has water as the first ingredient. Water should always be number one. Water is the most moisturizing thing you can ever possibly put on your hair. I know that for some reason there's this crazy school of thought that water dries your hair. That is not true. Think about this. Almost every living organism requires moisture, requires water to thrive, right? So think about a plant. If you have a plant, and if you catch it before that plant fully dies, if that plant is starting to wilt, right, you give it some water, if you can catch it in time, that plant will start to come back to life, right? It requires water to live. So water is super moisturizing. It is pertinent to life. Like the majority of our bodies is made up of water. So you need to water your hair, right? And in doing so, water is the most moisturizing thing you can put on your hair. Okay, so water should be your first ingredient. Not the second, not the third, not the fourth. It should be number one in your moisturizer. If it's not number one, put it down. It's not worth your money. It's not worth your time. Second thing in your moisturizer is that you want to make sure that your moisturizer does not have mineral oil in it. Mineral oil is not an actual natural oil in the sense of jojoba oil or olive oil or argan oil or any of those sorts of oils. Mineral oil is actually a byproduct of when gas companies distill gasoline from crude oil. So when they take gasoline and they when they take crude oil and they turn it into gasoline that you put into your car, right, or your lawnmower or your snowblower or what have you, right, that what's left over is crude oil. And that's what you're putting on your hair. It's not crude oil, it's mineral oil. And that mineral oil is what you're putting onto your hair when you use products that have mineral oil in them. All right. Not only is this gross, right, for one, but in addition to it being gross and nasty, it's also toxic, right? We know that most things that are expensive to discard of or dispose of are usually toxic, right? So mineral oil is really, really expensive for gas companies to dispose of. So instead of disposing of them and taking on that expense, they sell them to cosmetic companies and hair care companies who will buy it for pennies on the dollar because gas companies, they just want to get rid of it. So beauty companies will buy it, put it into your products. And the thing about mineral oil is that it makes things feel good in the moment, right? So it feels like your hair, when you have a hair product and you put it on, your hair will look shiny, it will look slick, it will look like it's moisturized and all those things, right? But if you give it a day or two or three, you'll notice that your hair feels bone freaking dry. And the reason for that is that mineral oil, which is also known as paraffinium liquidum, right? Which is like the technical name for it. That product actually blocks moisture from getting to your hair. And I just told you guys that moisture is like your best friend when it comes to your hair. So this product that you're going to put on your hair has mineral oil in it. It's blocking the moisture from getting to your hair, and anything you put on your hair that is moisturizing is now blocked from actually penetrating into your hair. So when you use a moisturizer that has mineral oil or quote unquote paraffinium liquidum in it, you are doing yourself a great disservice. It's kind of like a facade. Like, it'll look good and feel good in the moment. Give it a few hours, a few days, but your hair's going to be bone dry, and then you're back to square one with the breakage and the dryness and the split ends and all those things, okay? So the first tip is to make sure, the first part of this tip is to make sure that you are using a true good moisturizer that has water as the first ingredient and no mineral oil, aka paraffinium liquidum. Now, on the label, the product may be labeled as mineral oil, or it may say paraffinium liquidum. So make sure you're looking for both when you are buying your hair product. Usually, if mineral oil is in your hair product, it will be at the top of the list, okay? Usually, that's how it usually goes. Sometimes it'll be towards the bottom, but usually you'll find it closer towards the top, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is to make sure that you are layering your hair, make sure you're layering your moisturizer properly, right? So sometimes you guys are using the right product, but you're using it in the wrong order, right? So we all have heard of the LCO method and the lock method, right? So the lock method, for those of you who are unfamiliar, means basically utilizing liquid, oil, and cream. So that's LOC, lock, right? But we also know scientifically that oil and water don't mix. And I just told you that your moisturizer should have water as the first ingredient. So now if you're doing the LOC method and you've got liquid, which ideally is going to be your water, right? So water, the nature of water is to evaporate. It's eventually going to evaporate and your hair is not going to be wet anymore, right? So you washed your hair, you've got the water in it, that's the liquid. Now you put the oil on, right? Oil and water don't mix, right? So that oil that you're putting on your wet hair is eventually the water's going to dry and your oil will be stuck onto the dry hair. But then you're going to put a cream onto your hair, which is your moisturizer. And your moisturizer has water as the first ingredient, which means it's mostly made up of water. So if oil and water don't mix, and we know that your hair requires water in order to thrive, if you got your hair, you've got the oil on top of that, and then you put your moisturizer, which is water-based, on top of that, what's going to happen? The cream, the moisturizer cannot get to your hair. There's no way for it to get to your hair because the oil is blocking it from getting to your hair because oil and water don't mix, right? Are you guys following me here? Okay. So let me know if that doesn't make any sense because I really want you guys to understand this part because this is so important and so vital, okay? So leave me some comments. Let me know if you're following what I'm saying, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, okay? You need to switch your layering process from LOC to LCO because again, oil and water don't mix. However, oil locks in whatever it's on top of, which is a good thing if you're layering your hair layering your products on your hair the right way. So now let's kind of backtrack and rewind. Okay, so you've washed your hair is all wet. That's your liquid, right? So your hair is wet, you got the liquid on, which is the water. Water's going to evaporate. So then you're going to put the moisturizer on. Now, water is your best friend, remember? So now you're putting on the cream, which is your moisturizer, which has water as the first ingredient, and you're putting it on top of wet hair, which means that your hair is doubly moisturized because it's soaking up all of this moisture, aka water, that is going to get to your hair. Plus, in addition to the water itself, the moisturizing cream is going to just input all these other really, really good ingredients into your hair so that moisture level is retained in your hair, right? So now your hair is moisturized. And then on top of that, you're going to put on your oil. And your oil is going to lock in all of that moisture because oil locks in whatever is on top of. You guys got it? So if you are doing the LOC method, I need you to switch it to LCO, and that will resolve a lot of the issues because a lot of times, like I said, we are using the right stuff, but we're using it in the wrong order and still not getting optimal results, and we don't understand why, right? So that is a huge, huge, huge reason why a lot of you guys are frustrated and you're just like, oh my gosh, I think I'm doing the right thing. I see all these different blogs and they're telling me all the right things to do, and I just don't understand why my hair is not dry, or why my hair is still dry, and that is a huge reason why. Now, Michelle's asking why leave-in conditioners aren't moisturizers, because as I mentioned before, Michelle, conditioners do not moisturize your hair from the inside out. Conditioners work on your hair on the outside only, right? They literally condition, that's it. They condition the outside of your hair. They do not penetrate the hair. They do not penetrate the core of your hair. When your hair feels dry, it is dry from the inside out. By the time it feels dry to you, it's already super duper duper dry on the inside. And if you want to prevent breakage and split ends and brittleness and dryness and all that other stuff and some forms of shedding that comes from breakage, you've got to moisturize your hair, not use a conditioner. So again, if you wash your hair and it feels a little rough sometimes, right? You then put on a conditioner and it smooths down the hair and your hair no longer feels dry. It no longer feels rough, right? That is what a conditioner does. That's it. That's it. DASSIT. That's it. That's all it does, right? Not saying that conditioners don't have their place, because they definitely do. but you cannot use the wrong product for a certain, you cannot use a certain product for the wrong task and then, you know, expect it to give you moisturizing results, because that's not what it does. It's not designed to do that, right? However, a moisturizer is designed to penetrate your hair. So again, a leave-in conditioner or washout conditioner, it works on the outside of your hair only, right? Outside of your hair only. However, a moisturizer works from the inside of your hair out. So again, conditioners have their place, but a lot of people are trying to use leave-in conditioners as moisturizers, and they're not. They're going through leave-in conditioner in like a week and a half, and their hair's still dry, and they can't understand why. And it's because they're trying to use something for the wrong purpose, okay? So make sure you are using a moisturizer, not a leave-in conditioner, okay? If you notice in the Naturalicious system, we've actually labeled the product steps 1, 2, and 3. I'm kind of going back to the LCO method here for that very reason, because so many people, just because they don't know, they're doing the LOC method and don't realize that it's not helpful to them. So we've labeled everything. Step 1 is the shampoo, the clay shampoo. Step 2 is then the moisturizer, and step 3 is the oil. So that's why we've labeled it steps 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Okay, so 1, we're kind of going to backtrack here. Remember, number 1 is for you to remember to use a moisturizer, use a product that is truly a moisturizer using the tips I gave earlier. Step 2 is to make sure, part 2 is to make sure that you are layering your hair in the right order. Not layering it LOC, but layering it LCO, because science tells us that LOC is detrimental to our hair. If you've already got dry hair, the last thing you want is to put a series of products on your hair and layer it in such a way that's going to cause it to be dry, right? We need all the moisture we can get, all right? Okay, the third thing that I want you guys to remember is that, remember I said you need to make sure you are being preventative rather than reactive to your hair. So if your hair is already feeling dry to you, remember, it's already been dry for probably a couple days already, okay? So what I need you to do is to what I need you to do is to moisturize your hair consistently. Do not moisturize your hair once a week. Do not moisturize your hair 3 times a week. I need you to be moisturizing your hair at very bare minimum every other day. And I know it sounds like it's a lot of work. Like literally moisturizing your hair should take you all of 5 minutes or less. It probably takes me 45 seconds to 60 seconds every morning to moisturize my hair. Like it shouldn't take you long at all. What you also need to remember is that the ends of your hair is where breakage occurs, right? So I'm not talking about oiling your scalp or greasing your scalp like your mama used to do when she sat you between her legs and put the blue magic in your hair when you were a kid. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about literally moisturizing the ends of your hair to prevent breakage, to prevent brittleness, to prevent shedding, some forms of shedding, split ends, and all those things, okay? You're going to moisturize the ends of your hair. Now, I did a whole extensive tutorial on how to moisturize your hair a few weeks ago. Now that is in the video section here. I'm not going to be able to do that tonight, but if you go look in the video section here in the group, you will see that tutorial where I showed you how to quickly moisturize your hair and then also how to do a more thorough sort of, moisturizing or what have you. Okay. But consistency, like Erica just said, consistency is so key. Consistency with everything. Like I've just learned, like consistency in every part of your life is key for success in anything. So do not get frustrated, okay? But here's what's going to happen. When you first get into a groove of moisturizing your hair on a consistent basis, right? When I say consistent, I don't mean 1 time a week. I mean every other day or every day, ideally, right? Because the more you moisturize, the better. And it is a myth that you can over moisturize your hair. That is not true. Okay, you can only over moisturize your hair if you are using a product that has bad ingredients. But we already talked about that in part 1 of this. So you already know what to look for in your moisturizer. So now there's no way for you to over moisturize your hair as long as you're using the right product, right? Okay, so consistency every day, ideally, or at minimum every other day. But here's what's going to happen. When you first start this process, your hair is going to suck up that moisture as soon as you put it on. Right? And I don't want you to get frustrated. I don't want you to be like, oh, this doesn't work. Because what's happening is the same thing that happens anytime your anytime your body gets water, right? Gets a lot of water at once and is not used to it. If you start a new regimen of drinking a ton of water, right? Think about this. When you drink, if you embark on this thing, you say, okay, I'm going to drink a gallon of water a day, right? Because some people do that, right? I'm going to drink a gallon of water a day, or at least let's say 8 glasses of water a day, right? Your body will retain that water because it's not used to getting it, right? It's going to like suck up the moisture, to suck up the water, and you're going to retain that water because your body doesn't know the next time it's going to get it, so it's going to hold on to it. And you may not even go to the bathroom that much in the beginning because your body's retaining all of that water because it's thinking it's dehydrated, quite frankly, and it's thinking that it's not going to get it again, so it's holding on to it for dear life. But the moment that your body starts to realize that you are going to consistently be putting more water into it every day on a consistently regular basis, you will find that you will pee that water out, and you won't retain that water anymore because it's not afraid that it's not going to get it, right? This happens to me every time I decide that I'm actually going to drink a whole gallon of water a day. Now, I usually do drink 8 cups of water a day, but every blue moon I get into this whole thing where I'm like, I'm gonna drink a whole gallon. And that it's not used to getting a gallon. So I'll like pee out the 8 cups that I normally would drink, but the rest of that water it holds on to, right? So it's the same thing with your hair. When it's getting moisture, which again, water equals moisture, right? When it's getting moisture into it for the first few times on a consistent basis, it's going to suck it up. So you're going to have to moisturize more often in the beginning than you will down the road. When I first started my natural hair care journey, I think I moisturized twice a day, every day for about a month and a half, maybe even 2 months, because my hair was so dry and it had no clue when I was going to stop doing this because I hadn't been consistently moisturizing it for so long. Okay. But after about a month and a half or so, it stopped. The moisture started to be retained in my hair. It wasn't sucking it up and keeping it. So it started to be retained in my hair, and I started to be able to go from moisturizing it twice a day to being able to moisturize it just once a day. And then on some weeks, I'm able to actually moisturize it every other day. But that's because my hair now knows that it can rely on me because I'm consistent with it. It can rely on me to consistently give it moisture, good moisture, on a regular basis. So there's no magic pill in a bottle. There's nothing, I don't care what the brand is, I don't care what it says on the label. There's nothing that's going to thoroughly keep your hair hydrated if it has good ingredients in it, if you are not being consistent, okay? There's no way for your hair to retain. Now, it may feel like you may use a product that has negative ingredients, such as mineral oil, like I said earlier. It may feel like the moisturizer is being retained in your hair. Trust me, it's not. Okay? Trust me on this. Believe me when I tell you this, it's not. You're going to find that you have a bunch of breakage, you have all sorts of other issues, right? You need to make sure that you're moisturizing consistently. Daisha says her hair's right now, she's moisturizing twice a day. So she's probably in a space right now where her hair is not used to getting moisture, but because she's moisturizing twice a day and she's going to be consistent with it, I know she is, she's going to be able to move from doing that twice a day to doing it, once a day or maybe every other day or what have you. Okay. So just keep this in mind. Don't get frustrated. Okay. Be patient with your hair. Anything worth having takes time, ladies. Okay. And I know we all see these, we live in this microwave society and we're all kind of wanting this like immediate result from something. But I always say that 50% of how your hair performs and acts is based upon how you've been caring for it in the most recent past. And when I say most recent past, I'm talking the past 3 to 6 months. Okay. So if you haven't been doing what you're supposed to do, and then you use this one product and it doesn't work for you, it probably may not be the product. It might be the fact that your hair isn't used to getting good treatment in all that time. Again, back to diet and exercise, you guys. It's just like that, right? If you haven't been working out and you just been eating all times of night, whatever you want, popcorn and chips and ice cream and steak and all this other stuff all the time, right? And you haven't really been watching what you eat, you cannot go and take a diet pill and expect to lose 30 pounds in one day. It doesn't work like that. And we know this about diet and exercise, but when we think about our hair, it's like it needs to work right now. It's not realistic, right? It's the same thing. You have to put in the work and you have to be consistent with it, right? Now, you may not want to do this, but if you want your hair to thrive, if you want it to not be dry, if you want it to not have that brittleness, and most importantly, if you don't want to be frustrated with it, which I know a lot of you are. I know a lot of you are just, you know, you're like, why is my hair not doing what I see the vloggers do? You got to understand those vloggers and those bloggers, they're doing their hair every day. They're doing this for a living, right? They are moisturizing their hair on a consistent basis. They're drinking a ton of water. I think I saw Lee and Kathy posting here, drink your water. Yes, drink your water. They're drinking their water. They're doing everything they're supposed to do because that's how they make their living, right? They make their living on their hair looking great. And I know it looks like it looks easy. It's just, again, like diet and exercise, right? You see the celebrities and you're like, dang, Beyonce just bounced back from them twins. Like, why can't I be like that? Beyonce is putting in work at the gym, right? You don't see the work, but she's putting in work at the gym so she can get that body back, right? Just like these bloggers and these vloggers, they're putting in the work to make sure that their hair is on point at all times so that when they actually do their hair, their twist styles look amazing because they've been caring for their hair on a consistent basis, that their hair looks moisturized because they've been caring for it on a consistent basis. So you may not see the grind behind the scenes, but trust me, that I work with them and I know a lot of them. They are putting in the work. And so if you want to have that sort of bouncy, fluffy, beautiful hair that you see these other people having, you've got to put in the work too. Now, the thing is, I know that a lot of you here are extremely busy. Most of the women in here are busy professional women. A lot of you have children, myself included, and we just don't have the time to spend all day long fooling around with our hair. So that's why Naturalicious exists, so that you can get all that stuff done in record time, right? So we have steps 1, 2, and 3. Gets you done an hour or less. Most people are done in 30 minutes or less with our system. But again, I always make my Real Hair Revelation videos to be brand agnostic. So this information I'm giving you is relevant to you, whether or not you choose to use Naturalicious. Of course, I want you to use Naturalicious, of course. But if you don't, I still want you to have the best hair experience of your life. I don't want you to be frustrated. I don't want you to be walking around mad at your hair or feeling like your hair is a problem, because your hair is not a problem. It's not a chore. It's not a challenge. You just have to figure out what to do with it. And so I hope that this video today has been helpful for you. So let's kind of recap really quickly. Okay. So the first thing, the main idea here is for you guys to remember that you need to moisturize your hair to resolve the majority of your hair issues, okay? So part 1 of this is going to be making sure that you're using a product that is truly a moisturizer, okay? Truly a moisturizer. No leave-in conditioners, no washout conditioners, just a moisturizer. That moisturizer needs to have water as the first ingredient and no mineral oil or aka paraffinium liquidum. Okay, so that's part 1. Part 2 is to make sure that you are layering your hair in the right way. So you need to do liquid, cream, oil. Liquid, cream, oil. Not liquid oil cream, none of that stuff. Liquid, cream, oil. Make this really simple. I know when I get off of this video, a lot of you are going to be leaving comments and questions. You guys are going to be like, well, what about if I do this? What about if I do this? Da, da, da. Listen, don't make it complicated. Our hair is really, really simple, but you got to understand there's a lot of money to be made in the confusion that certain, brands make it be. That didn't even make sense, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of money to be made in our confusion, in our frustration, in our lack of understanding. It is not complicated. Our hair is super simple. You only need a few things to make it do what it do. Moisturizing is the number 1 thing, okay? So you want to make sure you're layering your hair right. Liquid oil, liquid cream oil. In the comments, don't be asking me, well, what if I use this particular oil first? No, liquid cream oil, period, point blank. That's it. Liquid cream oil, okay? And make sure the cream is a moisturizer, all right? Third thing is to make sure you are being consistent. You have to be consistent. You cannot do this for a couple days or a week or so and then be like, oh, this ain't working, I'm about to stop. You have to be consistent. Just like going to the gym, you cannot go to the gym for a week and then, be over it. Just like the people, at the beginning of the year, the gyms are full. And by March, it's like nobody there, right? You cannot go to the gym for 2 or 3 weeks or even a month and then stop and be like, that workout plan ain't work. Well, it didn't work because you didn't do the work, right? Like I'm sorry to be so in your face, but you have to make sure that you are putting in the work to make sure that your hair is the best that it can possibly be. If you follow my tips here in Real Hair Revelations, you will have the best hair that you've ever had. I can promise you that. But you just have to make sure that you are following them and you're being consistent with it, okay? The last thing I want to talk about is that I see some of you saying, I use, when you're using our products, you're like, oh, I used step 1 and my hair was really dry. You have to make sure you're putting moisturizer in your hair after that, right? Like shampoo is designed to cleanse your hair, right? That's it. There are moisturizing shampoos, but that moisturizing level from that shampoo is not going to leave your hair moisturized forever. You have to put in a moisturizer afterwards, which is why we have step 2. So make sure you're using step 2 afterwards. You are welcome to use whatever moisturizer you want to use. However, I can't guarantee what that moisturizer has in it because I don't know what you're using. If you're using step 2 of the Naturalicious line, you should be good to go. But some of you are purchasing step 1, which is great, and then you're either not putting in another moisturizer or you're using some other moisturizer, which very likely may have mineral oil in it or what have you. Just remember what I said today. It cannot have mineral oil in it. It has to have water as the first ingredient. So if your hair is dry after using step 1, that's because water evaporates and your hair is going to be dry. But you also probably are new to the natural hair, like maybe not new to the natural hair journey, but new to really understanding how to truly care for your natural hair. And so it's paramount, and it will behoove you to use a moisturizer afterwards, no matter what product you're using, whether you're using our step 1 or somebody else's shampoo or what have you, okay? The only other thing that I can think of that I want to impart on you guys, which I say all the time, when you go to the store, I don't want you to just look at the label, because the label will lie to you. And the example that I always give about this is that my mother, God bless her, love her so much, my mother always calls, when you first meet somebody, she calls them the representative. And some of you may have heard that term before, right? So you know how when you meet somebody, they're literally everything you've ever wanted. They light up your life. Someone that you're, engaged in a relationship with, they light up your life. You're like, oh my goodness, you're like my knight in shining armor. Where you've been all my life. I've been waiting for you, and life is perfect. That's a representative, right? And then sometimes down the line, right? That person who you met is not who that person becomes, right? So let's say about a year later, you're like, I don't even know who you are anymore. Like, where's the person that I met a year ago? I want that person back. Who is this? And like, it's 2 totally different people. Like, that first person was amazing. The second person is a complete jerk and you can't stand them, right? It's kind of like that when you go to the store. So when you go to the store, the front of the label is going to tell you everything you want to hear. Everything you want to see. It's going to use all the buzzwords. It's going to say moisturizing. It's going to say organic. It's going to say natural. It's going to say safe. It's going to say healthy. It's going to use whatever the hot ingredient is. So it's going to have that on the label. It'll say like argan oil. Remember when argan oil was like really hot? It'll say argan oil or whatever it is right now, and you will buy it. And you know what happens. You get it home and you throw it in your drawer. You try it and you hate it. And you throw it in your drawer because you hate it and it sucks, right? That's because you didn't look at the ingredients. Now, when you go to the store and you look at that front of that label, that's the representative. That's the one that you meet in the beginning. The knight in shining armor is telling you everything you want to hear, just lights up your life and makes everything better. The ingredients, however, is what you're going to really get down the line, right? So that's the real deal Holyfield that you're going to have to deal with in a body gear, right? So before you leave the store, you turn that label around and you look at those ingredients and you ignore what's on the front, because the front is going to smooth you. It's going to sweet talk you. It's going to tell you everything you want to hear. Ooh, baby, you so beautiful. How, can I take you out? Da, 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 da. But the back of that label is the guy or the girl who is ignoring your phone calls, who doesn't pay any attention to you in a year or so, and you call his phone and you can't get in touch with him. You don't know where he is, and he's just giving you a hard time, right? That's who you're gonna get in a year. So that's what those ingredients are on the back of that label. So before you spend your money and before you walk out of that door, I want you to turn that label around and look at those ingredients, because the ingredients will tell you what you want, what you really need to know. Okay? It's like having a really, really good girlfriend who's gonna give you the rundown on what to expect from this person, right? Now, it's important to know that what's on the front of a label is mostly marketing, right? There are so many words that have no real FDA regulated meaning, okay? So natural has no FDA regulated meaning. So you could say it's natural, but what does that mean, right? The FDA has not defined that. So it can say natural and it could totally have formaldehyde in it. And you would never know because you didn't look at the ingredients, right? So make sure that you look at the ingredients. The ingredients will tell you what you need to know. I've done several series of videos here in the group on ingredients, what to look for, what to stay away from, words that those ingredients sometimes hide behind, those sorts of things. So make sure you look at those. Those are some of my first real hair revelations, and I really, really, really want you to look at those before you buy any more products, because it will save you a lot of time. It will save you a lot of money. Okay. Look at the ingredients. You want to stay away from mineral oil, like we talked about. You want to stay away from sulfates. You want to stay away from parabens, and you want to stay away from bad alcohols. Like I said, I went very in depth with that in other Real Hair Revelations. So make sure that you check that out. Okay. That's all I got for y'all tonight. So I hope that this has been helpful for you all. But listen, if you follow what is in this video alone, that will solve the majority of the issues that I see you guys posting about here in the group and elsewhere. Because I follow a lot of different groups, right? A lot of different hair groups, and I see the same issues arise everywhere. It's always dryness. Why is my hair so dry? Why does my hair feel so dry? Why is my hair breaking? Why is it shedding? All these other things, okay? Also, I see these in like the hair boards. So these are like OGs who have been, trying to figure out this hair thing for a while, and they're having the same issues. So understand that you are in very good company, but we want to resolve those issues, right? We don't want you still being frustrated. So I hope this has been helpful. As always, you guys can leave your comments below. And I forgot to mention it. Y'all know we hitting Sally stores on March 30th. So make sure that you go to your local Sally store. Do me a favor. Go to naturalicious.net/store locator. Actually, you can go to naturalicious.net/Sally launch. Naturalicious.net/Sally launch, and you will be able to see the products they're going to have in the store. You will be able to type in your zip code and find out which stores we're going to be in near you. Now, some of you are saying, well, how come you aren't in New York? Or how come you aren't in such and such place? Gwen, you should put your products in this store. I didn't pick the stores. Okay, so, but here's the thing. If you guys support us in the stores that we're going to be in, we're going to be in 84 stores to start. If you support us in the stores that we are going to be in, we will be fast-tracked to more stores near you. So yes, you can buy it online from Sally as well. Okay. So if that's a very good point, Jeanette, thank you for mentioning that. So if you do not see us in a store near you, right? Go to Sally.com on March 30th. Don't go today because it's not there. If you go on March 30th, you will be able to find it on Sally.com. I really need you guys to support us here, because here's the thing. We're in 84 stores right now. Sally has about 2,700 stores that we can potentially be in. So that obviously means the more stores we're in, the more of you we can serve, okay? So even though we're in 84 stores right now, the plan is for us to be in all 2,700. And obviously, if we're in 2,700 stores, we're going to be in a store near you. But we got to get through that 84 first. So go to naturalicious.net/Sally launch. Click on the button that tells you where to find our products. Type in your zip code, and you will be able to find the store near you that we are going to be in. If we're not near you, tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your cousins, tell your aunties, tell your neighbors, whatever. Tell them to support us in those stores so that we can get into stores near you, okay? Like Arlene, I know Arlene's on Rhode Island. We are in no stores in Rhode Island yet, but if people in other locations support us, we will be in Rhode Island ASAP. We are also not in Charleston. I know somebody said, why aren't we in Charleston? Well, if you guys support us in those stores, we'll be in Charleston really, really soon. So just do me that favor, you guys. Go to the store. I will be consistently posting about March 30th just to remind you that you need to go there. And I can also tell you that there's a really cool little promo that we're going to do on March 30th. So I'll tell you guys about that as we get closer. All right, so I'm going to go. I got to put my kid in bed. It is well past his bedtime. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments below.